we have to know and remember, so power equals current times voltage, so power is equals voltage multiply times by current. So it's simply, if you wanna connect anything to system by wires, we have to find what current will be in a wire, or it's better to know what current will be in a wire. It's simply because we know so the voltage in the system usually is a bit higher, but usually we use 12 volt as a standard voltage. It's usually 12 by something, but we can use 12. And if we want to connect anything to the system, we just take out the power, divide by voltage, and we get the current. So if we want to connect like a, I don't know, halogen bulb with, let's say, 60 watt, divide by 12 volt, we get 5 amps of current in our system. And we have to remember, so this is voltage of the system. So let's demonstrate something in how it looks in reality. Here we have power supply. I set it for 12 volt, is something similar like in a system. And let's say we want to connect to this standard. This is standard bulb taken out from like a, I don't know, Citroen or something like that, internal lamp. Okay, light. Okay, and right now we see, so this small lamp taking was shortage, taking 0. ampere. It's a quite anyway, it's a quite high. Let's say connect to the system LED lamp. In this case we have to remember about like and what we see is nearly 10 times less. It's a 0.09 ampere. Okay, it was something to demonstrate how it works. And what size of wiring? Usually what we can buy on the market is this kind of wiring. This is 1 square mil wiring, and is claimed by like a seller usually, so this is rated for 16.5 amp. Means, can we send 16 amps through such a thin wire? Is yes and no, not. And no means with this is thin wall, so call it thin wall because the isolation on this wire is quite thin. But anyway, if we send through this wire 16.5 amp, this isolation will be on the verge of melting. And second, exists something like a voltage drop. You can find in the internet calculators when you calculate the voltage drop. It means if we take such a thin wire, try to send through this wire 16.5 amp, and let's say this wire has like a 7 meters long. Let's say in a van we can sometimes we have such a long wires. The voltage drop on this wire will be 4 volts. So on the here we fit, I simplified, 12 volt. So in the end we get 8. So it means like many of things will not work at all. And second, this amperage, like a basic amperage, what's shown on like on commercials and everything, usually is if this wire is alone It means it's not in a harness with other wires, yeah, but it's alone in the air and in like a standard 25 degree Celsius degree temperature, something like around. So it means if we feed so means when we feed this small wire into the harness, and in every like wire will go some like current and hit this wire because. So back to like basics. So if we count, so such a small LED lamp, yeah, taking 1/10 of ampere, so it means even if we connect 20 of such a LED lamps on such a thin wire, it came to 2 amperes. So it means it's still far away from the edge of 10 amps or even 16.5, but operate like a more in reality 10 amps. So it's easily. So everything we connect like a motor blower or something like that, we have to check the power consumption in watts. Sometimes producers of course give the amperage also, so it's easy to check, but if it's not, we can calculate it from power. So usually we use like a 1 mil square wire, 2 mil square wire, 4, 6, 10 and 16, something like that. Very rare we are using thinner wire than 1 mil. You can use it, but for like for some signals from like sensors, like I don't know, water level sensor. This is never like a big amperage. It's like a small amperage. But problem is only these thin wires are like a mechanical weaker than 1 mil. So usually everybody starts with 1 mil and going up to 2 mil, 4 mil for like a step or something like that, where it's like a bigger amperage, and that's it. Can we use one color wire? Some people do like a wiring on only on 2 colors. It's a simple installation, black and for ground and red for live, and will be enough. It's enough when you build it, but later on if you have to change something or repair it, it's a terrible job. For some reasons, like automotive producers and like camper producer manufacturers using multicolor wires, just to easier to trace the wire in the loom. Yes, we have some loom, we have some wires. When we have to trace something inside van, it's easier to find which wire are which. Sometimes somebody disconnected, sometimes we wanna make some improvements, or somebody we bought the used equipment and wanna connect something, and if it will be everything will be in one color, it will be just hell job to do it. Okay, we have wire, we have harness, we have looms, we have wanna connect to something. So usually the most common type is isolated connectors. Isolated because you know the conductor is inside the isolation sleeve, and this is the most common and easiest to use. Of course we have different types. It means this is like a bullet connectors. So means this is male, blue male and blue female, and this is bullet connector. Yeah, it's connected. Of course the internal size, so red to blue also matching, and to yellow also matching. No, this is not bullet, this is like a spade. Okay, why is it different colors? This is thickness of the wire. When you compare size, you see it's different. So red one is for the thinnest, I think is, I don't remember right now, but it's up to 1.5 or 1 mil, 1.5 or 2 mil, 2 square mil. Let's check it. Have we specified all size of wiring for all steps, toilets, I don't know, everything inside the camper ourselves? Usually not. And what I suggest, take a look for manufacturer specification. They should always, but it's like a 95% we can find it, the recommendation for size of wiring. If they suggest 2 mil square, we use it. We don't start like thinking why I can use, maybe I can use the cheaper wire because, you know, this is thick, this is more expensive. Some of equipment are very fragile, and you know, if you deliver too low voltage, will not start, because drop on the line will be too high. We don't know exactly how it works, this equipment, because we buy the box and we want to install it. So if manufacturer suggests the size of wiring, we use the size of wiring, and that's it. So to tell the truth, when we start building a camper van or change the wiring in motorhome or something like that, we can think about like a wiring for lights. Yeah? This is quite simply, we can calculate it, and to tell the truth, usually is always flat twin 1.5 and will be more than enough. But sometimes we have to check something or calculate something, so we always have to think about the power what we're using on this wiring. Okay, it was like the basic about wiring sizes. So let's say we want to start wiring our conversion, and what we need, of course, except wiring. I think what's the basic tool, this is like a cutter, can be small, can be bigger, can be good, can be cheap, you know, this is, we are not professional, so if we cut 100 wires, even cheap will be okay. What is good, this is kind of stripper, maybe not work perfect, but work, and cost only a few quid, and save us a lot of annoying job. And what we need more is a crimper. Especially, it's a few kinds of crimpers, but here is the one with like a color dots. It means is for insulated connectors. Can be bullet connectors, can be flat connectors, anything. But usually with some equipment like lights or something like a simple things we can buy, and in every shop we don't get connectors, so we have to purchase these connectors separately. And it's like a 3 types: thin wire, middle wire and thick wire. I don't remember but exactly, but from what I remember red is okay up to 1.5, blue is okay to 3, and yellow up to 6, but you can check it. But anyway, these connectors for sure will be necessary. It's like a straight connector just to connect the wires, not recommend. Wire should like start and finish from point of the power to the appliance should be one wire. Every connection which we hide behind the cabinet or something is a weak point of system. And of course it's like a what we have here. Oh, here's a bullet connector. Let's say we can connect by it LED lamp or something like that, just to be easier replaceable item. Of course, from time to time we use thicker things, but you know, it's not so many, not so often. And the maybe the most important but very useful tool is a simply multimeter. You don't have to be good, you don't have to be expensive. The most important thing for us when we build the wiring is this function. We can check if we have closed loop of wiring or not with, and this is function and have to be quite loudly buzzer. So this is first few things about wiring. If you have any questions for this, it was like only few minutes, yes, of like a open talk. Just give me a message, leave a comment. I can like talk about different stuff about wiring, and I won't. But if you wanna get some specific information, it will be better for you if you can heard about it, not waiting till I found the idea to talk about it.